green flag, formation lap.
The Australian V8 Supercars are on American soil for the very first time, and the first man to start a race from pole in our category here is Fabian Coulthard, heading up the hill on his formation lap in the Lockwood Racing Holden Commodore car number 14, as we welcome our viewers on speed across the country. A very special moment for us. I'm Matt White. Alongside me in commentary, 5-time V8 Supercar champion, 6-time Bathurst 1000 winner Mark Skaife, and also, as always, the voice of V8's Neil Crompton. You've done quite a bit of racing in these parts, winner of 7 Super Touring races back in 1997. That was a long time ago, Crompo. A ride in the Indy Lights and the Indy as well. It's a homecoming for you.
It's been great this week to catch up with so many old friends and enjoy this. And this is a great moment for Australasian motorsport, and for us to connect with North America is very important for V8 Supercar. Really looking forward to it. So let's take a look at the Fuso starting grid. We'll check out the field as they line up for this 13th race of the championship season. Coulthard on pole, second career pole, chasing win number 3. Alongside him is Whincup. Craig Lowndes position 3, then David Wall, career best position 4. Watch out for a strategy play from him. Then we've got Will Davison and Jonathan Webb. A scare yesterday with that oil line that came off Jonathan Webb's car. First man at this venue was Mark Winterbottom, position 7 with Garth Tander. Then Rick Kelly, best qualifying of the season. Great job in the Nissan Altima from Alex Premer. His 6th top 10 qualifying performance.
Positions 13 and 14, James Courtney and Scott McLaughlin. James is one of 4 drivers to have had American racing experience. One of the others is right there, Alex Davison, also raced in the US. And then we've got young Chaz Mostert, who only joined our main game at the last round and is making a sudden impact already. Mauro Engel is from Germany. This is his first year in our category. James Moffat comes off the back of a great weekend at WA, where he posted Nissan's best result, an 8th place in the final race in WA. In fact, he had 3 top 10s across that weekend. When we get to the back of the grid, there will be a change for our viewers who checked out qualifying. Shane van Gisbergen, 28th position for car 97. He originally qualified 9th, but he has been excluded for a Parc Ferme infringement. They checked the tyre pressures before they left Parc Ferme. So the Giz, the Kiwi, who opened the season with Clipsal 500 victory, is now starting from the back of the grid.
And Matt, this start will be unbelievably important for Fabian Coulthard, because his last start from pole in New Zealand was really poor. Cost him the race meeting. And the way that he needs to get off the line today, up this hill, look at this, 35 degrees, the temperature out there at the moment, and the run into turn 1 will be vital.
That's 95 Fahrenheit for our local viewers, so you know it gets hot around here. In fact, that's exactly what they were predicting today. So we are going to start this race at the hottest period of the day.
And they'll come under the control of our starter, Damien White. We've got 6 V8 Supercar champions on this grid. And for Jamie Whincup, and there is Damien White at the starter control area. Jamie Whincup is looking for title number 3 on the run, and he's 5th.
So this is race 13 of the championship, and it's one for the ages in the history books of Australian motorsport. America, the Aussie V8s are good to go in Austin, but it didn't go well for Fabian Coulthard. And for sure, Jamie Whincup will lead them up this hill down to turn 1. His teammate wants to have a look at Coulthard on the inside. So Craig Lowndes, very aggressive. And there goes Scott McLaughlin.
It's been hit. The left-hand rear wheels hanging off that car. It's got a lot of damage to the left-hand rear. You want to go really steady now. Have a look at the start of Whincup.
Trouble in the mid-pack here as well. 2 cars. One of them was an HRT car. And that's McLaughlin.
Big slide for Mauro Engel. He's in the ditch.
That might be a safety car because it's parked in there. This is V8 Supercar racing at its best on the opening lap. It is on for the lead. Great job, Whincup, but the rest of the field, have you seen as much chaos as that? Safety car out now.
So right at the back of the shot, McLaughlin was just beginning to understand the mess at the back of his car. Meantime, as they plunge down through the S's, here we go. There's McLaughlin with that damage to the left rear. That happened at turn 1. Mauro Engel's problems unfolded down through the S's, through 3, 4, 5. There were cars going everywhere. One of the Ford Performance Racing Pepsi cars was off there as well.
Toe link or something. Doesn't look too
It's the voice of Scott McLaughlin in car number 33, Jiu-Jitsu Racing. 19 years of age, the youngest ever winner of a V8 supercar race, having his first trip to the United States.
And this is a blessing for Fabian Coulthard. That was a really bad start. He had a massive gap to Whincup, who got away brilliantly. And now, with the safety car out, that gap will be closed. So that will help Fabian.
Whincup, a winner of 3 races already this season, leads the championship by 65 points. Normally, when you gift him a lead like that, whether it's on the first lap or mid-race, you're made to pay for it. So you're right, Scafie. He will be... Coulthard will certainly be thanking his lucky stars and stripes that there's a safety car in the first lap here.
What happened was there's the obvious compulsion to try and do the best you can when the tyres are cold and everybody gets scrambled, but essentially that run down through, really from turn 3 all the way down to turn 7, is essentially a single racing line. So when you go side by side down there, there's going to be trouble, and that's exactly what unfolded on cold tyres. So that car will be parked there for some time. And they're under the control now of the Chrysler Peters STP safety car. Here's the replay of the start from on board Scott McLaughlin. We're riding with him on the run up to turn 1. It's always aggravation filled in the mid-pack.
You'll get a hit there. Oof. That started with one of the Kelly cars. It started with Todd Kelly, but it was actually another bump from behind. So quite significant damage. And you can see it's had a bump from the left front and a bump also from the left rear.
So that, yeah, Todd Kelly was just on the back left of Scott McLaughlin, if you like, and he was lucky, Scott, that he didn't run straight into his teammate Alex Premer, who was up on the crest of the hill in front of him.
No lateral weaving or accelerating. I will call when safety car is...
So the voice in the background there is Mark Dutton, engineer for Jamie Whincup, and he's reminding them that when the safety car lights go out, there can no longer be any porpoising of the car, cycling the brake pedal and the accelerator, nor weaving to warm the tyres. They've got to maintain a clean, calm, single file. What about the winners and losers here, Mark?
Jonathan Webb, great job in the early laps. He's come up 2 spots up to 4th. David Wall back 2 spots, and David Reynolds 5 positions from his qualifying spot.
Well, for our speed fans, you're going to love this. This is a rolling start effectively, because this is now well and truly game on, and it's a bit of box and dice going on here. Mid-pack. Do they get through cleanly this time? There's enough space now to work it all out. That hard turn back down towards turn 2. The road drops away almost 20 metres from them after they've climbed 24.5 on the way up.
Garth Tander just put that move on in car number 2 for position 6 for the Holden Racing team, wrapped in the Australian flag around the rear flanks of the car for this weekend. And I saw Shane Van Gisbergen with some weird attitude on the car in the background there in the VIP Pet Foods entry. So it's Whincup from Coulthard. There's Lowndes in the Red Bull entry. 4th at the moment is Jonathan Webb. It's a good clean start for Jonathan. Next in the queue is Will Davison. Garth Tander, as we mentioned, David Wall was the victim in that passing move up to turn 1. Then Rick Kelly, he was in a big battle with Mark Winterbottom in the run down to turn 1. And then you've got Russell Ingall just on the edge of the top 10 there in the Stanley Tools entry. There he is, the black and yellow car.
This is approaching turns 16, 17 and 18, and there goes Tim Slade. The heavy haulage Australia Racing Mercedes.
A little assistance there.
So we talked up the fact that these guys push and shove. We've seen plenty of it in the opening laps. Now Lowndes looking threatening here. The balance of Fabian's car doesn't look ideal at the moment. A run to the last corner for Craig Lowndes. Oh, no space. He hangs on the Kiwi. Fabian Coulthard, position 2.
Fabian was a bit cheeky then. He was probably up far enough to get him, and Webb's now in contention to get by Craig Lowndes. He's in the right spot to get down the inside. Lowndes just able to break it deep enough to contain that. Here's Mark Winterbottom down the inside of Rick Kelly. Gets that done now. Rick Kelly, I just spoke to him before he got in there. Carted him off then.
And that was talked about in the driver's briefing, expressly mentioned by Cam McConville, that if you escort somebody off the road, we're going to look hard at it. Now, talking about hard at it, Russell Ingall up the inside. This is hard, too wide, down through the S's. Oh, Lingle so close to swiping the back of Kelly's car.
Great driving, both guys. That was very, very high quality racing.
I thought for sure that car, that bright yellow car that you're looking at, folks, the Stanley car number 66, would just take the shortcut. But that's Russell Ingall. He doesn't take shortcuts.
He's a great racing driver, and that was a really good quality, very high-speed section of driving. But Winterbottom being striped for that, he carted him straight off.
Courtney, meantime, moved up to 11th, passing D'Alberto. I caught a glimpse of it in the background. So both the HRT cars, Holden Racing Team entries, are doing pretty well at the moment, marching through the field. So Coulthard's got a little breather now on Lowndes.
Guys, you wouldn't believe the fans in the stands here in Austin are having the best day out. Every time there's an incident on the side of the track, the whole grandstand erupts. I don't think they've seen anything quite like this on this circuit before.
Black flag, car 5, failing to give racing room. Mark Winterbottom will have to tour the pit lane in the Pepsi Max entry. So Winterbottom will come in, he'll see the flag this lap, he'll be forced through the lane. And I'm surprised he did it because it was very clearly enunciated in the driver's briefing last night.
And he already had the manoeuvre done. He was already there. He passed Rick, and it was over and out. So a little push wide is now going to cost Mark Winterbottom severely in this race. Wow, what a couple of first laps.
Only 23 to go.
Oh.
And then another 27 this afternoon, and then we'll do it all again tomorrow twice. Don't worry, they'll be coming back for this one. Jamie Whincup now has a 2.1 second lead over Fabian Coulthard, who's getting hunted down by Lowndes, Webb, Davison, Tander. They're all in it, but Mark Winterbottom will tour pit lane, and he will drop down the order out of the top end. The Circuit of the Americas. Also got a mechanical flag being shown to car number 7 for loose bodywork. So Todd Kelly being looked at.
Lowndes is all over the back of Coulthard here. He's ultimately going to get him. What's happening at the moment is he's forming a cork in the bottle because Webb's tucked under the back of Lowndes as well.
Webb was a bit cheeky then, nearly flicked the lights. He flicked the lights around the big fast right on the back of Lowndes to say, I'm here. I think Craig knows that.
When anyone turned the lights on for you, what effect did it have?
It made it harder to get by, I'd reckon.
Correct.
Do you think?
I don't know a single driver out there that when he sees someone turn the headlights on behind doesn't redouble the effort to make it harder. So I reckon the best thing to do is leave your hands off the lights.
This Darrell Lee car of Jonathan Webb has been mightily impressive in the opening stages of this race. Good qualifying effort. He's had his dramas already this weekend in practice. The oil line coming off. So they have bounced back Techno Autosports, and remember his teammate Shane Van Gisbergen started from the rear of the grid after being excluded for a Parc Fermé infringement after qualifying. He's now worked his way up, Van Gisbergen, to 19th. So here is Todd Kelly. Improved pit lane, loose body work for Nissan Altima. Best lap of the race, of course, Whincup, 135.94. They were doing 132.5, so he did a 132.5 to claim pole position for this race. At the moment here at the Austin 400, it's a battle for second place. Jamie Whincup's 2.4 seconds up the road from these guys. Fabian Coulthard, who started on pole position. Craig Lowndes is behind him. Jonathan Webb is waiting. It's a little waiting game here. Lowndes isn't prepared to attack just yet. Webb wants to get by Lowndes because he feels as though he can have a shot at the Lockwood car number 14 Commodore.
Been a tough start to the weekend for the Pepsi Max crew. Tim Edwards, a black flag to Mark Winterbottom, the last thing you needed.
Oh, look, I mean, it's the first time anyone's raced at this circuit, so, look, the guys have got to explore the limits. He's the first person to overtake anyone into turn one, and really, he just needed to feel, you know, he ran a little bit wide on the exit, but, you know, as I say, first time anyone's overtaken a car at that corner. We now know roughly where the braking point is to stay on the track on the exit of the corner. So, look, it's a fair call by race control, but you can kind of understand how Mark arrived in that position.
He's forgiven?
He's forgiven.
You know, it's
It might even be better than that, because I'm not convinced at the moment that he's actually been shown that flag it could have been a bad sportsmanship flag, so we'll get that confirmed for you. It hasn't come up on our computer timing here, and normally it would have been signified. So we'll get to the bottom of that and see what the story is. I do know that Todd Kelly has been through for the mechanical black flag for his car because he's got a lot of damage on the left rear corner of the Jack Daniels Nissan Altima.
Well, if it's just a bad sportsmanship flag, oh, Lowndes and Coulthard, who goes wide. You watch Jonathan Webb pounce here. He's been waiting and waiting. It's not over yet. So Lowndes up to second.
It looked like it was going to be 3 wide as they made the run into turn 17, then that was never going to work out. Webb's going very well here. New livery this weekend. Changed the look of the car for their primary backer, Darryl Lee. He's up the inside now of Fabian. And the Quinn family own VIP Pet Foods, a major presence in Australian motorsport. They've also bought Darryl Lee. The company was in a bit of trouble in Australia. They've got a huge presence in this market. And back up the inside is Fabian Coulthard. Crisscross manoeuvre, and he makes it stick on the braking run into turn 1. Nice job.
It's not quite over because Will Davison's going to buy into this. Around the outside, I wouldn't like to be around the outside at one of the fastest corners on the place, 5th gear. It's over 180 kilometres an hour in the first part of that as you turn in there. And the way that the cars get around that section there, it becomes a single file corner. They've got to find a way to get back into single file. And this is the move we saw Craig Lowndes cross the curb, up the inside, little bumping duel here. And he was probably okay with that part. But the next bit was the interesting bit. We saw all 3 cars trying to converge before the next right-hander. Power steer problems here.
And post-race investigation for the incident involving Tim Slade and Michael Caruso at turns 10 and 11. And we've had a confirmation through it was, in fact, the bad sportsmanship flag for Mark Winterbottom. So he's been given the benefit of the doubt, not the black flag. So Ford fans can breathe a little easy that their man remains out there in 8th place. This looks like aggravation.
It certainly does. Shane Van Gisbergen up 9 positions from the back of the field. Done a great job. He's right up behind.
They've also just, race director Tim Schenken has advised bad sportsmanship flag for Craig Lowndes as well for the same thing, because he ended up with Fabian Coulthard out wide.
Down the inside, Davison now on D'Alberto. D'Alberto's been qualifying well, has been racing quite hard there, and Alex Davison down the inside of the final corner.
Yeah, down here with Lee Holdsworth's car, we can't talk to the guys who are just busily trying to fix the car. Would appear a power steering problem. So the Merc's not having a good day, coupled on that drama with Maro Engel earlier in the race. I can just see the race control little tower here at the start-finish line, and they've just put the sign out and the flag. So they put the number for the car out and that black and white bad sportsmanship flag for Triple Eight.
Well, Larko Lowndes just done the fastest lap of the race with a 1:35.4. It's Whincup with a 2.4 second lead. Old Fabian Coulthard, who has started from pole position here, has just found himself in a battle from the word go, and he continues it with Jonathan Webb, who pushes him wide on lap 9 of 27, the Austin 400. And look at this, Will Davison now. So these 3 continue to jostle for position number 3. Coulthard covers, Davison's on the inside. Around turns 17 and 18. It's the longest right-hander you'll ever see. It just goes on and on forever. Who pops out at the end of it? Oh. Well, Coulthard does, but that doesn't mean that he's guaranteed, because up towards turn 20, another rise. Davison has a look on the inside and will duel Jonathan Webb down the main straightaway.
You said that the turn goes on forever. If you're a Dunlop tyre, it would feel like that, because that long right-hander at 17 and 18 has got major load through the tyres, makes big temperature, makes the cars more unstable later in the lap. And look at this, up the inside, nice work.
That's hip and shoulders too.
So Will Davison gets it done. I'm holding my breath to make sure it is actually cleanly locked off here, but he has made the move. It took a while.
Oh, he's giving you a bump on the way in. I think that'll be okay in terms of what the stewards say about that. He got a bump from Webb on the way in. That was into turn from 3 to 4. In this section of road, how wild is it?
1:35.09, fastest lap of the race for Craig Lowndes. Whincup, his teammates, got a 2.3 second margin over the field at the moment. Coulthard in 3rd, then Davison. He's got his arms full with Jonathan Webb right in behind here in the number 19 car. Then Tander, Wall is continuing this great run. Winterbottom 8th, then Rick Kelly in the first of the Nissans, followed by James Courtney now inside the top 10. He's the lone ranger there at the moment.
We're going to see some pit stops very shortly.
So they weren't permitted to stop prior to lap 10, and now the strategy games begin. Will they change 2 fronts, 2 rears, the left, the right, all 4? Everybody up and down pit lane has their own version of how this should unfold.
There you go. Coulthard in. Davison in.
Yeah, and most of the teams out on pit lane here, and I'm up at the sharp end, the pointy end, where the Red Bull cars have got 2 tyres out. Looks like they're going to put one on either side, rear tyres, and the advantage they have by being up at the pointy end of the lane, which they earned from their championship position last year, means they come in clean and they go out clean.
Like I keep an eye on which tyres go where, because some guys are going to put 4 on, some are going to put 2, and it'll be very interesting to see what the leaders do in terms of strategy here.
Well, there'll certainly be some people, depending on where you are in the championship and how your day's unfolding, that play the 4 tyre game to try and get a little gain in this race. That's tight.
Okay, mate, obviously colder is your best scout lap.
Shane Van Gisbergen, meanwhile, that engine's down a cylinder, so it's straight into the pit for him, so he's out of the race. Coulthard, they make ground in that section there between Will Davison and Tander. Tander made a lot of ground on them on the way into the pit, but they've made a lot of ground on the HRT guys in the pit stop itself.
So remember that car number 1, Jamie Whincup, is the first guy in the queue that stopped. His teammate Craig Lowndes is yet to stop. There's a whole raft. About half the field hasn't stopped at this stage, and there's the 24-year-old Kiwi Shane Van Gisbergen. Birthday last week for him, and a problem in the engine bay of that car, and so he's out of business for the time being. This is Todd Kelly, Jack Daniels Racing Nissan, all 4 wheels off the deck. Look at the load. I mean, everywhere you look in the car, you see flex, twisting loads. That's 1,400 kilos, more than 3,000 pounds flying through the air and landing awkwardly. This is James Moffat. He's in a battle with Chaz Mostert, who made his V8 Supercar Championship debut in Western Australia last time out. First visit to the US for him. Loving the adventure. Oh, this is costly.
Should have gone then. Could have got out.
Alex Davison was inbound in the Geraldwyn entry, and so for Jonathan Webb, he had to sit and wait. That's hurt him. So Mark Winterbottom's grabbed a position as a result of that in the Pepsi entry, car number 5. And when you're the driver, when you're sitting there being told to wait, having already done a big long run at 40 kilometres an hour down the pit lane, it feels like the whole world passes you by.
Oh, got a hit. Winterbottom's giving him a bump.
He got him.
That was Garth Tander that he tagged. So all the way down to position 8 at the moment. Lowndes down to Scott Pye. They've not yet taken the opportunity to stop. They're playing a slightly different strategy game. Everybody from position 9 through 28 has stopped in this race.
Now the interesting part of this, with Lowndes being slightly out of kilter with Whincup, Lowndes did his fastest lap 2 laps before they all came in. So their speed is very good. So that the undercut may not work as well as normal.
A nice turn in the right direction for Shane Van Gisbergen. His car, they had a misfire problem. They've been able to fix it. Shane Van Gisbergen will be back out there in a matter of seconds, guys.
Gee, it must have been a pretty simple thing.
Plug lead or...
Yeah, something like, I mean, you don't normally lift the bonnet and resolve it and live to tell the tale.
Alex Premis just entered pit lane. So Lowndes is out there. He's 8.3 seconds ahead of Rick Kelly.
So he's pressing on, and that's to Mark's point, because he's still got pace. Meantime, there's a whole bunch of others that have come into the pit lane now. James Courtney, David Reynolds, Alex Premer. This leaves Rick Kelly in position 2. So it's Holden, Craig Lowndes 1, Rick Kelly, Nissan 2. Then it's Jason Bright, Team BOC 3. Mystified by their lack of pace. This is a car that's been right there on screen, the Team BOC entry, very quick in the recent past, and it just has had no pace since about halfway through yesterday. They can't figure out what the problem is, so they've gone back to the setup that David Wall installed for this race in an effort to try and make that BOC car work. Here he is on screen now. So he's being chased by Michael Caruso. He's under investigation at the end of the race, remember, for the incident with Tim Slade a little bit early on. So Bridie's third, Caruso fourth, then Scott Pye, who you saw images of him at the top of the telecast flying through the air and meeting the wall in Tasmania, and then flying through the air and not meeting a wall in Western Australia, thankfully, and looking for a nice, clean, calm weekend with some points.
So now we've pretty well cleansed the pit lane, Neil. The overwhelming strategy was just rear tyres only. We often see in that situation when they're trying to preserve tyres, they'll put them down one side of the car. Of course, here at Texas, this circuit has a lot of lefts and rights. So the smart play is rear tyres because they cop a lot more punishment than the front because you've got to put the horsepower through them and the same lateral load as the front tyre. I'll show you before the next race just how difficult it is to manage your tyre bank for this weekend.
So still 5 cars yet to pit, Marco, with just under 15 laps left to go in this first ever race on American soil. Craig Lowndes leads the way. Will Davison's just done the fastest lap, a 1:35.0.
And then immediately Fabian Coulthard has improved on that to a 1 minute 35.03. 3/100ths of a second in it, Matty. So Fabian quick in the midfield in 17th at the moment with still 5 drivers to take their stop.
Wasn't that a killer shot there? Looking out the back of Mark Winterbottom, heading up the hill down to Jonathan Webb. Jono Webb's in really good position to walk away from this weekend with a bank of points, if not podiums, and perhaps a race win here or there because he's qualifying well, he's racing well, and the car's reacting well to those curbs that you just saw.
In this lap for Rick Kelly in car number 15, Jack Daniels Racing, from position number 2. And that'll be good news for Jonathan. There he is on screen at the moment. Car number 6, there's also under investigation at the moment by race control because the car controller was seen to be working on the car. Car number 6 is Will Davison, Ford Falcon entry, Pepsi Max on the car. So Rick Kelly's now come in. And for Jonathan Webb, if he can pull off a result here, Matt, would be a great improvement. His best of the season so far was race number 5 of the championship at Symmons Plains in Tasmania. There's Rick, service done. And he and his brother have been on a promotional tour to Jack Daniels and to the Nissan Altima factory in the lead up to this event. So here's this battle continuing between Ford Performance Racing's Mark Winterbottom and Jonathan Webb. Lots of quick laps being punched here, and one of them notably by Jonathan Webb. He's just done a 34.9 and immediately eclipsed by James Courtney, a 1 minute 34.7. So Courtney quick in 9th at the moment. 4 drivers yet to stop.
Well, 6 months ago to the day, Circuit of the Americas hosted its first ever Formula One Grand Prix. And now the Australian V8 Supercars are putting on a show here on a really hot day. There's been action all around us. Craig Lowndes leads on the road. He is yet to pit. In fact, I can tell you he's just entering pit lane right now. This is the view looking back from Mark Winterbottom to Jonathan Webb.
So at the moment, with Lowndes peeling off from the lead in the Red Bull entry, car 888, that leaves Jason Bright, Michael Caruso and Scott Pye out there yet to stop, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And look at Webb up the inside here. They'll run side to side. Winterbottom in car number 5, Webb on the outside, and this is amazing. To try and run 2 wide through 17 and 18, he's dropped 2 spots in the process, and that's a big birthday present for Rick Kelly.
I'm going to confirm for you because we think that Rick Kelly may have put 4 tyres on when a lot of other guys have put 2 on. We'll just check that for you.
Yes, Gafian, another bloke that has just pitted and put 2 tyres on was Craig Lowndes. Roland Dane, team principal down here at Red Bull Racing. Roland, interesting strategy leaving Craig out that long.
He had really good speed. If you looked at his lap times, he had great speed. So we just ran him a little bit longer to half the race, basically. I'm not quite sure where he's come out, but he'll be there or thereabouts. Yeah, great speed.
Thanks for the heads up, mate. Okay.
It's all hands to the pump in Team BOC at the moment. Brad, you're trying to make a bit of headway with Bridie's car. How's it going?
It's pretty tough going. He's struggling with the setup on the car. we've decided to run him long. We'll probably stop on the second or 2 or 3 laps to go, and just put 2 tyres on it and really hope that he gets a good run through this clear air period and save those 2 tyres. So tomorrow or later on today, if we get the setup a little better, we can put 4 tyres on him and end up with a bit of advantage. But we just sort of figure that this is a bit of a dead duck race for him. So in clear air, he's got good speed. We'll just try and get the best we can and fight another day, really.
All the best with it, mate.
Thanks very much.
What's interesting here is the margin closed down by running Craig Lowndes long, as Roland Dane just explained. Look at that air gap. It's completely disappeared. So if you remember, Jamie Whincup, prior to the stop that he took, and he was first in that queue, had a really significant lead over Craig Lowndes. Now, Lowndes looks good in this latter stage of the race, so he's closed right up and continues to close up.
Go, car in front and behind, have 5 laps all the tyres, mate.
So there's the news from his engineer, Jeremy Moore, telling him that the tyres are older on the cars in front and behind. Well, there's only effectively one in front of him after everybody cleanses.
I want you to watch this, boys. Riding with Mark Winterbottom here, looking at the rear, and this will give you the sense of this hill climb up to turn 1.
That's a move by Jonathan Webb, and a good one.
Gets the spot back that Rick Kelly.
And I think lost it again in this manoeuvre. Is he going to hang on here? This is the best seat in the house, looking from the rear bumper. And yeah, Rick Kelly has managed to climb back round the outside at turn 2, as Webb went in too quick to turn 1, as the case may be. So there are 3 cars yet to stop. Jason Bright, Michael Caruso and Scott Pye. Jamie Whincup is 4th on the road at the moment, the first of those who've completed their stops, and he's being pressured by his teammate, Craig Lowndes. There's the air gap. Gives you an understanding of just how busy this racetrack is when you consider that it's just a little under 3.7 kilometres, 2.28 miles, and there's 20 turns on this racetrack. It's busy, and there's a lot more action to come.
This is a very healthy battle between the 2 Red Bull teammates. Craig Lowndes has made significant ground.
Just you in the bit of a gap in position 3. Have some fun, keep it clean.
Have some fun, keep it clean. That's Mark Dutton talking to Jamie Whincup. This will be interesting because Craig Lowndes has 5 laps fresher tyres than Jamie Whincup, and his speed and consistency so far this year has been really good. The way that he's been able to keep the tyres on the car, meaning the minimal degradation or deterioration of the tyre quality over the course of a run, has been the category's best. And Whincup, who had such great speed at the start, we saw there just before, a bit of a battle there with Jonathan Webb and Rick Kelly, and Webb now gets Rick Kelly. So Jason Bright, Michael Caruso and Scott Pye haven't stopped. The effective leader of the race is in 4th position. Jamie Whincup, Craig Lowndes, Fabian Coulthard, Will Davison, Garth Tander, Mark Winterbottom, Jono Webb, Rick Kelly and James Courtney.
Big second gear slide then for Jonathan Webb. Can't afford to do too much of that with these cars, as you know. Quickly overheats the rear tyre, and he's got Rick Kelly right on him at the moment, currently showing 10th and 11th, these 2, but with those 3 yet to stop that you mentioned, they're going to run long. And nice and easy on throttle, mate, nice and easy. That was just a warning then to Jonathan Webb to go easy on that throttle, and car number 888, Craig Lowndes, is going to be investigated. Gee, the investigation list is long for race 13 because Lowndes' rear wheels were seen to be spinning during the stop. Well, he's spinning them at the moment. He's spinning them pretty close to the back of his teammate, Jamie Whincup, on the run up to turn 1.
Well, there's some drama unfolding here at the back end of this race. You're riding with Jamie Whincup, who leads the race from Craig Lowndes. Lowndes has fresher tyres and a lot of pace. That's effectively 1 and 2 on the road. 3 cars yet to pit. But in the break, car 888 is now showing on the timing board for being under investigation for spinning wheels at the pit stop.
The reason that's an issue, it's a safety issue. They don't want crew in or near the car when the rear wheels are rotating. So I'm sure that Roland Dane will argue the case. There he is, team principal for Red Bull Racing Australia. It's his daughter in the background. And this margin has closed right down. Lowndes looks racy at the moment. He's using a lot of racetrack. He's been using a bit more of it than Jamie Whincup. He's got more grip available to him. 5 laps is a big deal. Running long has worked out very well. And there's Damien White in consultation with Adrian Burgess. So Damien's talking to race control. Not only is the starter, but he's the general manager of motorsport for the category. And Adrian is the team manager for Red Bull Racing Australia.
It's quite an extraordinary pairing, this one. Jamie Whincup has won 16 out of 24 races offshore since Bahrain in 2008. He's got a 70% strike rate when we leave the country. Craig Lowndes, we know, has won more races than anybody in the category now, 91. He's only won 1 overseas.
Great job.
So that's Jeremy Moore on the radio in discussion with Craig Lowndes. And look at Lowndes here. He's going to have to be careful. A couple of things going on at the moment. When you're that close to the car in front, you can't see the apexes and it's harder to pick up the braking cues. You're also making a lot of temperature. So brake temps are going to soar. They already peak at 850 degrees Celsius in these cars around here. And you're going to make a lot of hot air for the air intake to the engine, and that's going to hurt horsepower as well.
This is the modified part of the circuit, the national circuit, the first time that we've seen it in use. It cuts through turns 7, straight 8, 9, 10, and then rejoins at turn 11.
Incidentally, Shane Van Gisbergen's done the fastest lap of the race, which automatically becomes a lap record. He's at a 1 minute 34.5. He's in 26th. He had those engine problems we spoke about. We're on board now with Chaz Mostert. Dick Johnson Racing, Wilson Security entry. He's tucked in behind Frenchman Alex Kremer.
And just for a little bit of clarity for those at home, when we talk all about the spinning of the wheels with Lowndes' car, we mean when the car is in the air. When you put it on the deck, you can spin them all you like, provided you have your speed limiter on. That's no problem. Now, those 3 guys that still haven't pitted, side-by-side action there, the 3 guys haven't pitted. Now, they're clearly, you can't go this far into the race and think it's strategically a good option. Over the weekend, it's strategically a good option. They're clearly saving tyres, and that'll come back and help them later on in the weekend.
Yeah, good point, Larko. They've basically decided just to fight this one out and not use as many tyres as some of the other runners that were in contention. So Bright, Caruso and Pye have decided to use their current tyres up for the maximum period in this race, and then that will facilitate a better tyre bank for the remaining races over the weekend. As Moffat gets down the inside of Alex Premer, a little bump. Just have a look here now. This is the engine power. Real comparison you've got with the Walkinshaw prepared engines in the Gary Rogers Mobile versus the Nissan, and they were absolutely the same all the way up the hill. So although the Nissan may not be totally developed at this point as the first year of their reintroduction into our sport, there's certainly going to reintroduction there in turn 2. It's wild, 180 kilometres an hour, and Premer stays in front of Moffat. This is a healthy battle.
And they get to 210 kilometres an hour as they make that approach in 5th gear on the run to turn 3, and then the intensity of these S's continues to build. They keep downshifting and the turns get tighter until they finally rejoin the Grand Prix circuit proper down there. That's where they are again now. Tony Delberto's not out of this little battle either. He's hooked onto the back of them there in car number 3 in the high flex entry. So Bright, Caruso and Pye, 1, 2, 3.
I'm just checking out the times there to see how far they've drifted away time-wise. So Jason Bright's just done a 1:35.32, pretty much similar for Caruso and Pye. Jamie Whincup a 1:34.6, and exactly the same for Craig Lowndes. That's the difference in tyre life at this stage. There's not many laps to go.
Another investigation after the race for car 12, Chaz Mostert, and car 34, Alex Premer, for an incident in turn 12. So they'll have to cancel the dinner reservations tonight for those working in the stewards area, because they're going to be shuffling paperwork until midnight on this one.
Just on that, for our Australian viewers, coming up in between the races, we're going to show you some great stories. We sent the boys out throughout the week. Salt Lick Barbecue. Will Davison took some mates down there, his brother included. We're also going to have a lot of fun with Craig Lowndes and Davey Reynolds, so don't miss it.
On board now with James Courtney, and you can see the level of workload and the braking forces and footwork associated with driving one of these cars. Now these are what they call flat changes. That's using the clutch on the down change, but watch when the flat change happens now. The gear change happens, but without using the clutch. He's a right foot braker, so a traditional driving technique. Some of the guys in the field use their left foot. Fabian Coulthard, Alex Premer, two of the left foot users. And you can just watch now as the rear tyres continue to be punished around this 3.68 circuit. You can see the modulation with the throttle there through turn 16, 17, 18, now down to 19, the second last corner. Watch the throttle. Very nice, slow modulation. Little bump. We're going to go on board now with James Courtney. Let's have a look at this. Wind the volume up. And this is a lap of the Circuit of Americas. 3.68 Ks, 20 corners. That was the oversteer there on the last part of that shot, sliding the car through 17 and 18. And that was 95 seconds of being on board one of these cars. It's so physical, it's such a busy racetrack. And now we go slightly further forward in the field by 5 positions to the battle with Mark Winterbottom down the inside now with Tander. We saw them make contact earlier and a big lock-up for Winterbottom, runs wide. That was a mistake, and he's lost 2 positions. He may lose a third. This is Rick Kelly around the outside, and he gets it done. 3 spots. So he was aggressive. He was trying to get down the inside of Garth Tander for 8th position. He's now back in 11th after that mistake. That tyre will also be damaged.
Good awareness too from Garth Tander to make sure that he didn't go spearing into Mark Winterbottom there at the top of the hill.
There's more investigations being posted up on our computer timing here. Car 3, Tony D'Alberto, and car 34, Alex Premer, are also going to be looked at for trouble at turn 15. That's Frank Adamson. We can't quite see him at the moment from V8 Supercar in discussion with Adrian Burgess. And this will be about the wheel spinning issue, no doubt.
That's Vincent Tomarski on the right-hand side. So he's a special projects manager. So we've got all the heavyweights involved in this one. There'll be some bluing about this afterwards. I love this sort of stuff because the team they do nothing wrong. The team, that's exactly how it is, and you know that the team will always try to preserve, you know, their rights under the regulation.
And if you can lip read, you can pretty much decode what was going on there. So here's Mark Winterbottom up the inside of Garth Tander, turn 1. Doesn't work. He's trying to use the gearbox to stop it. Can't get it done. Blue smoke locks the inside front, runs wide, and got punished for that manoeuvre to the extent that he lost 3 positions to Tander, to Webb, and to Rick Kelly. There goes Rico in the Jack Daniels entry at turn 2. Here it is again from outside, and that will have put a significant mark on the front left tyre of that car. And it happens as he puts left lock on the car and unweights the inside front. Here's Tander and Jonathan Webb. They continue their battle for 8th and 9th. Larko?
Yeah, nearly other FPR car having a bit of a battle with Will Davidson. And now it's about 35 degrees out here at the moment. His drink bottle has stopped working, and they have a little fluid container in there, not like a little wiper motor that squirts on your windscreen to feed the drink into their mouth. And as you would understand, I mean, if someone said you haven't got a drink, you deal with it. But if you've got one, giveth and taketh away, well, that's tough.
And remember, these cars are roaring hot inside. In Celsius terms, at least 20 to 25 degrees above ambient.
What is that in Fahrenheit?
Matthew's got the big long chart here.
75.
And so that's on top of whatever the ambient temperature of the day is. So you roll the numbers, Matty.
Well, if it's 60 degrees Celsius in the car, which you can get up to, It's 140 Fahrenheit.
So now Brighton Caruso are in. Scott Pye also joins them, so that's it for the remaining 3 to serve their compulsory pit stop, which reveals Jamie Whincup and Craig Lowndes in the lead of the race, and Lowndes has actually just drifted off a little bit now, and that margin's opened up. He'll be starting to hurt those tyres a bit more now, and he'll need the cool air in the front of the car. This is Bright. Will Davison, meantime, is talking about a lot of rear brake locking with a lot of brake fade. The fronts are getting very hot in car number 6, the Pepsi entry.
I don't know whether they fixed Lee Holdsworth's problem, but that was a power steer issue. It'd be pretty hard work around here with no power steer. It'd be almost impossible.
Well, power steering dramas would be a huge problem for the drivers, considering the camber and caster and the geometry of the front suspension on these cars. I mean, even just not being able to drink. The cars are all sealed up for maximum aerodynamic efficiency. The drivers have all got cooling kits. But sometimes you just also got to get some water in there because there are extreme temperatures inside. This little battle here looks exciting. This is Scott Pye 15th, James Moffat, Alex Premmett, Tony D'Alberto, and clinging to the back of that pack is Tim Blanchard, car number 17 for Dick Johnson Racing. And they're, you know, an arm wrestle to the death here at the moment. For mid-pack basically. Oh, and Moffat. Remember, he took a grid penalty into this race because he got involved in practice 1 in a stoush with Jonathan Webb. Ultimately, Webb at the same time popped an oil line while all that was going on, so it made it pretty spectacular. And James has been to America once before, James Moffat, but it was when he was very, very young, so he's doing the whole tourist thing. He's off to the Coke 600 to get some NASCAR action on the Memorial Day weekend. Lots of drivers are off to the Indy 500. Jamie Whincup's off to Las Vegas after all this.
And in the not too distant future on our coverage, we'll get a special message from Marcus Ambrose up at the Charlotte All-Star Weekend for the NASCAR. But here we go again. Jamie Whincup on the final lap will lead home his teammate for a Red Bull Racing Australia 1-2 to open the account.
And if he does it, it's win number 4 in this championship season. And after a slow start initially, very, very consistent. He was banking points, but he wasn't winning races. Whincup's beginning to assert himself. And remarkable that he's been able to just cruise along like he has and learn it.
How was that? Did you see Lowndes? He was totally out of control. He was out sideways. I thought he was gone. He rotated at that corner earlier in the week. Man.
The last 5 years, this man has won 16 out of the 24 races that have been held outside of Australia. He comes here to this brand new multi-million-dollar circuit and he rolls out the same trick. Jamie Whincup, the defending series champion, will claim the first ever victory in an Australian V8 supercar at the Circuit of the Americas, and that's one for the books as well.
Good start, fellas. Good start, 1-2. Keep it up, long weekend. Hey, good boy. Thanks, Russ. See you again next race.
Craig Lowndes second, Fabian Coulthard on the podium. After starting from pole position, Will Davison, the leading Ford, in 4th. A good bounce back after a bad weekend at WA for Garth Tander at Toll HRT. And Rick Kelly has just posted, folks, the best performance by a Nissan in 2013 in the country where the Altima was born and built. But Whincup's got a habit of this. He came into this weekend admitting that he was still kind of in holiday mode and wasn't very prepared. Wasn't being as meticulous as we've seen him. He was waiting, I guess, for the track to come to him. He knew that this team would give him a good car. He's got ultimate faith in his engineer, Mark Dutton. And as the days went on, well, Jamie Whincup became comfortable. And when he's comfortable in the race car, race wins come, and they're starting to come. The championship is starting to get firmer and firmer after 13 races. So that's your podium, all Holdens. Jonathan Webb, top 10 performance. He will start from inside the top 10 in our next race, and James Courtney there in 9th. So he's moved up from 13th. Chaz Mostert on debut in the States in 13th. And we'll flick the page to find the leading Erebus Motorsport Mercedes-Benz of Tim Slade. So it's fair to say that they're provisional for most of that field. We know the winner's in, no doubt, but there are that many investigations underway, Your Honour. We might have to go up to the Capitol.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of trouble right from the very beginning. And it'll be the best part of a dozen incidents that will be under post-race review. So that is career win number 68 for Jamie Whincup. Incredible numbers. He gets maximum points in this one. Continues a roll. Remember, we've got more V8 supercar action to come later in the afternoon as well, where this man is going to start from a handsome position. He will start from the pole. It's not a bad thing to do to come off position 2 for this race, convert that to a win, get yourself sorted, have a breather, start from pole for the next one. Well done, Jamie Whincup.
And hold off a fast-flying teammate with fresher tyres as well at the back end of the race. Fabian Coulthard goes across to congratulate Jamie, who's now got 4 race wins for the season. Man, that'd be hot work.
He's knocked around. Without the drink bottle, he's really knocked about.
Well, Jamie Whincup, the flyaway king, 25 races off soil in V8 Supercars. You've won 17 of them. Congratulations, another great win.
Thanks, Brett. Hey, early days in the weekend, but promising to have 2 quick cars. So, yeah, it's a start. We want to finish it off, so we'll just keep the focus.
Nice little personal milestone, though, to win this first one in Austin.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was. I was trying to keep it under wraps, but that last lap, there's so many people here. You know, it's good crowd, mix of Aussies and you know, countrymen. So yeah, no, fantastic. Couldn't be happier.
And of course, Jamie, this time of the year we start to get our focus on the championship a little bit. This helps.
It certainly helps. Yeah, this is obviously a full-blown championship round, so every point helps definitely.
Well done, Jamie. Enjoy the podium. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Cheers. Cheers.
Well, Craig Lowndes, a tremendous performance as well. And Lowndesy, we thought there at one stage you might have caught your teammate.
Yeah, Brett, I think that you know, staying out longer and only putting fresh rears on it just imbalanced the car. I had a heap of understeer, couldn't tune it with the roll bars. But look, that's them, the brakes. Jamie and the boys did a fantastic job with those guys, so not too disappointed, obviously, being on the podium.
You had to work your way through. You had a great duel with Fabian early on.
Yeah, look, we had a great battle. I didn't know what pace the race was going to be run. I don't think anyone did, but of course now we know. Fabian sort of faded a little bit there towards the end of that run before that pit stop, so we had to push on hard. Jamie was getting away, but look, yeah, them's the race. We'll fight it now for the next one. So just got to say hello to Levi and Chili out there.
And Lowndesy, just before we leave, a little bit of controversy about the potential of your wheels spinning during your pit stop. Can you give us your view?
Oh, I didn't know that, so I'll have to have a look at the replay. I'm sure the stewards would have seen that, that's for sure.
All right, mate, good luck. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Done. And of course, Fabian Coulthard, a great performance. Fabian, congratulations from pole position, staying on the podium, finishing third. Awesome.
Yeah, look, it's not bad. Obviously, we'd always like to win the race, but we suffered, you know, shocking rear grip at the first part of the race. But, you know, these two boys with a class act, you know, they had fast cars, they drove a faultless race, so I'm happy to come third.
You had a great duel with both of them.
Yeah, look, you know, it's always clean and fair up the front, so makes life racing and pretty enjoyable. So it's we'll be back, you know, another race this afternoon, so it'll be all good.
Good on you, Fabian. Enjoy this podium.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I've just seen Will Davo struggle out of your car, mate. I hate disturbing you at a time like this, mate. You had the wobbly boot on there. To have your drink bottle go in a race like that, position 4, mate, really good effort.
Yeah, it was hard work. Yeah, the drink bottle went. I knew that on about lap 2. And then the cool suit I don't think was working. There's no way. I've done enough V8 races in high temperatures to get through much longer races than that comfortably. So, yeah, it was hard work. It was harder than any clipsal or anything. So obviously the dry ice has failed and the drink. So,
and I guess, Will, just for people at home to understand why that would be difficult, apart from the obvious thing, the ambient, is this is a really busy circuit out the back here. So you don't get a rest. There's no airflow. The car's all buttoned up. Mate, I know you well. You're a fit young bloke. You look knackered.
Oh, I'm spent. It's just temperature. You picture sitting in that sauna, you want to get out and someone keeps you in there another 35 minutes. So, and you're trying to drive and you're right, it's a busy physical circuit. So I just wanted to bring it home. Anyway, it's all good. No stress. Obviously, yeah, it's not a nice feeling. I'll give you the tip, but Hello to everyone home. Don't stress. Good morning.
Strategy worked well. Yeah, we've got a short turnaround to the next race, mate. You obviously got to get some good. You got your pre-mix there, I can see. I don't know if you do know, Craig Lowndes is actually under investigation for a wheel spinning during the pit stop, so that's not over yet. So, mate, are you going to be okay to start this next one?
Yeah, Dr. Carl, where are you? No, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Get some fluids in. You know, we train hard and we recover well. And yeah, I mean, we're finding with these cars, they've got a very small window. So we know the performance is better than that. We know we're faster than that. So we'll just have a quick look at it now and hopefully we can make the right changes and give it a much better crack then, because I was really confident with our race car. That wasn't quite what I was hoping for, but good points, all good.
Well, we know how hard it is to concentrate when you're dehydrated, mate, so I reckon that was a stellar effort. Well done.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks a lot.
And like I agree with you there. He's a very fit young man, Will Davison. He's been around this caper for a while now. He's done more than 100 events and more than 230 races. I don't think I've ever seen Will so spent. He is now 80 points adrift in the championship picture. So Jamie Whincup is now hitting a purple patch of form and he will stand on the top step of the podium here at Circuit of the Americas, Barretts. So we might just wait until we get Barretts on the line there as they sort out the podium. It'll be a popular one because there's a hell of a lot of Australians here. Some 2,000 have come over. I mentioned it before, this is a big university city. It's been a big weekend. It's graduation weekend and there's a lot of activity going around in Austin, but they've come out here to see Jamie Whincup win the first race. Okay, Barretts, it's all yours.
Matty, race 13 of our year, the 2013 V8 Supercars Austin 400, introducing our winning drivers for race 13. The first V8 Supercars race at this magnificent Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Would you please congratulate our first place driver for Red Bull Racing Australia, Jamie Whincup. In second place, Red Bull Racing Australia's Craig Lowndes. In third place for Lockwood Racing, Fabian Coulthard. And representing our winning team, Red Bull Racing Australia, is John McGregor. Making the presentation of the third place trophy is Roosevelt Dixon Jr., the Austin area manager for our sponsor Chrysler. Presenting to second place is Dan Schuff, the regional director, Crown Royal. And presenting to the winning team is Cedric Benson, NFL legend. Making the presentation of the first place trophy is Eddie Lee, guest of honour, Circuit of the Americas. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2013 V8 Supercars Austin 400 race 13 winners.
So that's the first 100 Ks out of 400 that they'll do race-wise this weekend. First of 4 races, so still another one to come. It will be a quick turnaround, as Mark Larkin spoke to Will Davison about. So it won't be party time up there. It'll be a quick celebration, back down for a debrief. Jamie Whincup will be feeling good about this afternoon because he starts the next race from pole position here at the Austin 400.